And good morning, listeners, or good afternoon, depending on when you are choosing to listen to the Couple of Dummies podcast. I'm Dunner and... Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that nickname because it just kind of comes out every time I introduce myself.
Worst nickname I've ever heard.
And the man riding co-pilot here, but driving, is the Schilb.
Hi.
Is the okay on the front of there?
I don't care, Mark.
Well,
none of them are going to catch on anyway. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So it is Sunday, and I was unable to locate a date. So
except for this one in the bottom right-hand part.
Oh, there it
computer.
Is. It's 7/27.
It's January 17th. Mark.
January 27.
Yeah, January 27th. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Once again, our fact-checking has gone to the pooper. We're sitting here at Couple of Schilb.
Don't you want to give out the address, Mark?
And that's located at the corner of... Never mind. Anyways, good morning. Good afternoon. We're over here at the Schilb residence, and we've just finished a hearty plate of pancakes.
We did. We had beautiful pancakes.
Not from scratch yet, though, but we'll probably do that down
Thanks
the line.
for pointing that out, Mark.
You're welcome. With the addition, and this was an interesting addition, and maybe many of you already do this, but he added blueberries today, and that was a nice touch.
No, it needs to be pointed out that I didn't add blueberries to the mix. I
True.
simply served blueberries on the side, and then it was up to your discretion how many and if you were to add those to the top of the pancake.
That's correct.
Now, a lot of people will take the blueberries and put it right in with the mix.
Yeah.
So they get cooked up and a little soft, right?
Yeah.
And then you
Yep.
just have that blueberry flavor left over, whereas I went with the chilled
Blueberries
on the side.
So you had the hot pancakes, a cold little blueberry edition, and you got the fresh blueberry snap when you bite into them. It added a little texture
It did.
to the meal.
Yep.
It cut the acidity of the blueberry, cut kind of the heaviness of the pancakes.
The richness of the, yes.
Yep.
And the what do you call that stuff, the brown stuff that you pour over top?
Syrup.
That's right.
Yes. And the syrup, the richness of the syrup, it kind of cut through that.
Yep.
Very good. And
You know what I was thinking, though, while we were eating it? I should warm the syrup.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
The syrup should be warm instead of chilled.
I agree.
I don't know what the outcome of that, if you put it on a low heat in a pan or in like a pot, and then just low heat, just to get it up to a certain temperature. But you don't want to do it too fast, because then I'm afraid that it would like crystallize.
Right.
If you went too fast, and all that sugar would
candy.
firm up. That's right.
Yeah, it'll candy the syrup.
Is that the official name of it? Is
Yeah,
it candy something?
Candy it when you pull the sugars out and it hardens. Somebody can fact check that for me, but I think it's called candy.
Okay. So anyway, that was a thought I had while we were eating. You know, I should warm up the syrup. That would make a
That would be
difference
nice.
to it.
Yeah, and then the coldness of the blueberries contrast
That's right.
with that.
See,
That would be good.
There you go.
So today we're prepping to watch a little Tiger Woods,
Tiger Woods?
little golf.
Are we allowed to say that without paying a royalty?
What? To watch
Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Can you even say his name without sending the motherfucker a check? I'm sorry, I just dropped an F-bomb.
That was about time.
It took one podcast for me to drop an F-bomb.
Well, it's when you get talking about stuff you're really passionate about, like giving Tiger Woods money.
Right. But it goes back to what we said last week. You were like, I'm as passionate about this as you were about golf. And I'm
Right.
like, am I passionate about golf?
Yeah,
I guess
apparently you are.
just proven that that's true.
You start speaking in tongues when we bring it up.
So anyway, so we owe Mr. W a check now.
Yes, Mr. Woods. Just like last week when we were playing the Tiger Woods Masters game, you can play off of several different courses. Right. I was shooting about as well as I shoot on a real golf course on that game, and we were saying that Tiger Woods was going to knock on the door and insist that I stop playing as him on the game.
On the what Mark's referring to is the Tiger Woods 2012 Masters version of the PS3 video game, PlayStation 3.
Yes.
So yeah, he was going to get a phone call, or Tiger was going to knock on the door. Please stop playing as me. Mark was like 27 over par.
It's like, I played better than this when I was 8.
Right. That's actually probably true.
Probably true. So we're going to watch him shoot around a golf today. We watched the replay of last week's, or Friday's, round.
A little bit this morning.
What are they playing? They're playing in the Carolinas or something.
No, they're playing in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego,
At Torrey Pines Golf Course.
Okay.
Tiger is lucky enough to have 2 other players on the PGA Tour volunteer to play around with him. They're going to tag along with Tiger and Tiger's gallery of thousands of people. And
now, remind me again, which golf game recently did they win in order to get that opportunity to play with Tiger today?
I don't know. I think it was luck of the draw. Luck of the draw. They had a bunch of people who volunteered, and they got chosen because they were closer to Tiger in score.
Gotcha.
They weren't tied, mind you. They're close behind.
They were the closest, and he's putting a good rip on the ball again. It seems like.
Yeah.
And
right before the trap. Nice shot, Bill Tigre.
So we're gonna watch a little Tiger Woods play today.
Oh no, that actually the shot we just saw, Mark, is from the previous tournament.
Oh,
that wasn't from today. So I saw him come off the first tee, and he absolutely striped one down the left side of the fairway. So.
Oh man, look at that! It looks like we're watching. The ball went out of bounds, and there's one official that has to run and dive on the ball before the entire gallery snatches it up or drops their own ball there.
Dumps it into the ground.
Yeah. So, yeah, there it goes again. Looks like a riot.
Anyway.
So we're going to watch a little Tiger Woods play today.
Yep.
Last night, the wife and I came over to Schilb's place, and we had you made some tacos for us.
I did.
And he made some chicken tacos with they had a little lemon kick to them. And
well, you want to know why they had the lemon kick?
Yeah, I do.
Is because, well, here's what you do.
Is this a secret you're willing to release?
Sure, it's well-known information.
Mm-hmm.
You take the boneless, skinless chicken breasts,
okay,
right, and you bake them in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes, 15 minutes on one side, 15 minutes on the other. And you put a little olive oil on their exterior before you begin cooking them, and then you sprinkle them with lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper, and so you sprinkle them with that, and then that soaks into the breast as a whole, and it gives it that lemony taste.
It was, and it wasn't too much. It wasn't overpowering. Lemon pepper. What do you use? The Mrs. Dash version, or what do you?
I don't know. I picked up the $1 version at Kroger yesterday.
Oh, nice. It made a nice little kick, and then you had and you are big on giving your tasters options. The option to add something to a meal, you don't force it on us.
That's true.
Whereas
That's true.
Where we had the little ramekin full of blueberries this morning, last night he had a little side with a little onion and a little cilantro, and then some hot sauce, and what was hominy?
I had some hominy, rice prepared.
Yeah, and
the rice pilaf, of course.
It was a real nice meal. Nice, light evening meal.
Thank you very much. The most important part about making tacos, in my estimation, is corn tortillas.
Yes.
You must use corn tortillas.
You must have the corn tortillas.
Yes.
They're kind of lighter, and they kind of let you focus on the ingredients, not so much as
a little bit. And I don't think they're as high in. Now I have absolutely no idea, but they're smaller, and they're not as high as the regular flour tortilla. Is not as high in carbohydrate.
Okay.
I think, and a more complex carbohydrate, if that. But
so if you're going to run the New York City Marathon the next day, you'd want to go with the flour tortilla if you're going to carb load.
There's no question.
You can't carb load on those things. You serve
a flour tortilla filled with pasta.
Yeah,
basically is what you want to eat there. But
yeah, you just want to inject your body with as much carbohydrates as possible.
But the corn tortilla is also more authentic, as I understand it.
True, because you have, that's what they make in Mexico.
In Mexico, yeah. I thought you were going to say New York. We don't want to invoke New York.
No.
We don't want to turn people off because we lived in New York City.
Yeah, we don't want to go throwing that around.
Yeah, but we did.
But we did.
We did live there.
I did serve 8 years in New York City.
I lived there for a couple of years.
Yeah, you were there too. Yeah. And that's, I would say, part of our bond, strengthened by our time in New York City.
I would say that.
Many a day was spent, weekend morning was spent sipping coffee and laughing and even saying, we should do a little radio show someday.
And you are the happy beneficiaries of that.
Yes, absolutely. So, the tacos were a predecessor to watching another night of violence in the form of a UFC event out of Chicago.
Yeah, and that was a grisly night of fights.
Schilb's a little, we touched on this last week, but Schilb's a little
why are we going back to this?
gets a little weak-kneed when there's a little blood involved.
No. Weak-kneed?
Yeah.
I just don't like the way you're approaching that.
He gets a little... Well, nobody likes to see a little blood on TV, and this happened to
Well,
me.
in my defense, that was not a little blood.
It was a lot.
There was blood spattering out of that guy's cheekbone. And he was continuing to take elbows.
Yeah.
What's the referee's name?
And that one was, I think that was Big John McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy. Like, I honestly still, to this... What fight was it? Who was fighting?
That was Coke and Lamas.
Lamas and... Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Lamas. Was it Lamas?
Yeah.
Hit him with this elbow and just sliced his
Immediately.
cheek open, and he immediately had blood streaked all over his arm, and Coke had
Right
blood
in.
just pouring down his face. And it should have been stopped right there. That's my thing. But Big John let it go on, and he took like 3 more of those elbows to the same location in the face. And blood was... It was like a Tarantino movie. The blood was just flowing out of this guy's face. It was awful.
And Schilb promptly jumped up out of his seat, and I think one leg was sort of in the air as you had your hands in front of your face.
No, I kind of walked down the hallway. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And it was the first show on live television, the first fight on the show. So anybody that was tuning in going, let me see what this MMA is about, this violent sport. No, it's pretty good. Sit down and watch it. It's more of a sport than...
And then, of course, and there is Tiger missing his birdie putt. So then the mat, consequently, was just covered in blood in that corner.
And it was there for the rest of it. And I always wonder if the later fights, if they get in and maybe they come to the middle or whatever, sometimes they don't, but if they actually say to each other, let's stay out of that corner over there. It's just soaked in blood. I do not want to fall into that.
Yeah, maybe.
So we watched the fights, and then we revisited another classic Sylvester Stallone film.
I don't know if this is a classic one, but go ahead.
Well, it's no Rocky 1, but we... to pick up where we left off last week, we watched Rambo First Blood, Part 2.
Part 2.
Yep, and Part 2, it has a little bit different feel to it, doesn't it?
It does.
Stallone's obviously cut all of his body fat, because body fat percentage down to about 2%.
The guy was absolutely ripped in that movie. He looked like the letter P.
From the side.
From the side. He looks like the letter P.
With
a head on top.
With a mullet.
Like an umlaut. It's like the letter P with an umlaut is what he looks like. He's all chest. Right? It's just like a big barrel.
He is, and he doesn't swing his arms when he walks, so it's just, kids are learning their alphabet by watching him walk down. But they kind of cover the fact that he's got a substantial appearance change in this movie, in his kind of like Rocky 1 and Rocky 3, where he goes from kind of a soft, not soft, but he's kind of he's got a little weight to him, and then and by Rocky 3 he's just cut down to nothing, and then you're like, of course he's going to win a couple of fights, he's jacked.
Yeah. Totally.
And but they kind of explain that in a sense by the opening, because he's apparently been busting rocks for since we left him in First Blood.
That's right. They caught him. They caught him in the at the end of First Blood. They catch him in the sheriff's office, like all bunkered down, and they immediately sent him off to a work farm. So he's been busting rocks for like 2 years.
Yeah. And all they're doing, and it's just a boulder field, and these guys.
It doesn't even make any sense. It's just a bunch of boulders.
Hey kids, if you look your love, this is how gravel is made. These 30 or so convicted criminals are pounding this rock into tiny pieces.
What I loved about that was like there were like, I don't know, 15 dudes out on this pile of boulders that they probably just set up on the back lot somewhere in North Hollywood. Yeah. And so all these guys are like weary and just like trying to roll these sledgehammers over, and they just look like, oh, please get me out of here. And then they cut to Rocky or Rambo, and he's just staring dead forward. Like he's not fazed by it at all. He's like, I can do this all day, every day. You know, he's like, I'm just getting stronger. Is all this means.
This is just a vacation for me. You didn't see the Hanoi pit hell I was in.
That's right. There's no pressure in this. You know, it just a deadpan look on us. He couldn't care less.
He follows orders, and they say break the rock. He breaks the rock.
Breaks the rock.
Until Krenna comes marching.
That's another thing. The movie is like 15 seconds in, and Krenna's standing behind the fence. He's like, Rambo! And he's like, I got a mission for you. He's like, are you in? I'm in. And that's it. Boom. He's off to Cambodia.
And then the best part is that when right before they cut away, he goes, Rambo, I tried to get you somewhere easier. But
Yeah.
This is the best I could do.
I tried to keep you out of this place.
Yeah, I tried to keep you out of this place. He's like, it's all right. Yeah. But Krenna tried to get him something better than busting freaking boulders in the hot sun.
Right.
And he couldn't. Obviously, Krenna has no pull because he just gets bossed around in every movie he's in. And all these Rambo movies, somebody that doesn't outrank him bosses him around through the whole movie.
That's right.
He can't do anything.
And whoever that man is going to come to a very bad end.
Yeah. And Rambo's always sighted right in on that guy from the get-go.
Absolute jump.
So we pick up to Rambo getting flown into Thailand, right?
Is it?
Yeah, Thailand. Just over the border from Vietnam. Because that's the mission is that he's going to go take pictures of a place where they think there might be POWs still.
And the thing is that at the very end when he flies out, I mean, I don't want to jump to the end of the movie, but when he flies out and he's rescued the POWs in the helicopter, it's like a 6-minute flight. He's like, I'm on my way in, I'm coming in hot, and they're like, okay, bring it in, and it's like 6 minutes later, they're like 3/4 of a mile away.
Yeah, that's
from
a good
where
point.
From where the POWs are. It's not like they had to fly for 6 hours, but the plane is like sputtering fuel, so how much range could it have actually had? Like, it was like a mile away.
That's
they
a good
had
point.
set up their base camp. Why didn't they just bum rush that place from the jump and get those guys out of there?
Yeah. Why didn't Rambo just hike back to the base?
Right. Why just drag those guys back with him. It was that
Cover
close.
himself in some more mud, nobody will see him, and then just crawl his way back to the camp.
Yeah. So anyway.
So he goes out there, and the first person he meets when he gets off the helicopter to go for his briefing is that evil sensei from Karate Kid. and in case
Sweep the leg.
And in case you didn't recognize him, we took the liberty of taking his sleeves off his military jacket.
So he looks just like he did.
Except you get a sense of it. He's going to be another surly character because he's got a smiley face button, but it's got a frown on his face.
That's right.
It's cold. It's just cold blooded.
Was that like standard issue for Vietnam? They gave you an unhappy face?
Unhappy face. Yeah.
Button.
He's just not a happy guy. He probably has a coffee mug that just says, "I'm a real monster until I've had my first cup of coffee," by sitting on his desk.
Yeah.
So he goes and meets him, and this guy's not impressed with Rando at all. And they go in and they meet Murdoch, who's the
that's right.
CIA director, commander that's running this operation to go gather intelligence. And of course, when you went to gather intelligence, you get Rambo.
Yeah. Because he's the smartest guy in the fleet. Right?
Yeah. Because he's going to not break a twig. He's just going to sneak in and take some pictures and sneak out. So he meets this Murdoch guy, and you get the sense that this guy has other motives. And what it comes out to is that he wants to send him in to get proof that there's nobody there, so that the Washington will get off his back, off his case about the potential POWs still over in Vietnam. And so Rambo's just kind of a setup guy.
So that's what I couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Is why, in the end, why did they even send him over there? Because if he brought back pictures of the POWs, Murdoch's like, they can always disappear. They're just going to get rid of the photographs.
Yeah.
So why even send him in? Why bring that guy? They should have brought like the worst special ops guy they could find, as opposed to the best.
Why didn't they send the Cobra Kai guy in?
The Cobra Kai guy.
Yeah.
He could have gone in there and whipped up as much shit as Rambut did. But
And he's got a pilot's license, maybe because he had to fly the helicopter.
Maybe, I don't know.
But then they sit down and they rattle off Rambo's awards and accommodations.
Sure.
And he's won everything from the
Congressional Medal of Honor
to an Irene Ryan.
He's got like 4 Purple Hearts. An Irene Ryan Award.
Which is a college theater award. For those of you who don't know, so they go over his list, and nobody and that Creed I keep calling him that. I think that was his name in Karate Kid.
Apollo Creed?
No, the Cobra Kai.
Oh.
And he's not impressed one iota with Rambo's accomplishments. So then we cut ahead to them flying Rambo in, and he's got goggles on and a helmet, and they're going to drop him in from a jet. They're in like a little Learjet or something. And he gets hung on. In all of his training and stuff, apparently he forgot how to jump out of an airplane. It's been a while for him, or maybe he never has. Maybe that wasn't true. Maybe that wasn't a part of his training, but he's willing to do it. And all of this gear we watch him for 30 seconds pack up gets dropped in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have his gear with him,
right?
And he gets hung up, and he has to cut himself loose with his giant Rambo knife, and then he's just off the grid. But everybody's pretty confident that he's going to be okay. And so then we go on to watch him go finish the mission, right?
Yeah, he finds the guys, and he goes through a little bit of torture there. Where he's tied up to a rack, and they're just pouring electricity through his body.
That's right. And he's yelling a little bit. But he doesn't seem to be in fear of it happening anymore.
No, it's kind of the same look he had when he was standing on the pile of rocks. He's just kind of staring straight forward.
He's just in his happy place.
Because the Russians come, and like they want information, and he won't give it to them, so they start firing him up.
Yeah, and there's an equally large guy with the Russians, because he's got a tank top on,
right?
And he's kind of the right hand guy of the Russian commander. And they're all just intimidating him, and he's not flinching by it. So they try to get him to call back to base to get information or get them to come in so that they could take him out or something. That part I got a little foggy on what they wanted him to do, but he won't do it.
They wanted, right. They have a whole radio system set up there, like shortwave radio. Mm-hmm. They wanted him to radio back to his compound so that they would send troops in to get him out.
Okay.
So that the Russians and the Vietnamese could launch a surprise attack against the people coming to get him. I think that was the idea.
Okay.
Either that, or they wanted to locate. They wanted the location of the base or something.
Yes.
So something like that.
They were really intrigued by the fact that they sent in Rambo, and they wanted to know why they sent him in, and all that. So he won't get on the radio and say anything until finally he's like, all right, I'll talk or whatever, and he gets the microphone, and Krenna picks up, Rambo, where are you? So I can come in and get you. Because that's the thing. He finds POWs. And he tries to bring one back as proof because his camera got lost in the jungle, and he goes to the landing zone, the LZ, and the helicopter comes and they find out that he's got a POW, and they say, you got to leave him there. You can't bring him back.
That's right.
This is going to cause a lot of problems.
And Krenna's like, he's right there. We got to pick him up.
Yeah, and they pull a gun on Krenna, and
it's terrible.
Apparently, the guy who trained Rambo can't disarm a guy with a pistol in the helicopter and take it over.
Right.
Krenna's always helpless. So he goes back to base, and Rambo gets captured by about 300 Vietnamese soldiers.
Yeah.
And they put him in the pig sewer. They hang him in the pig sewer by a yoke.
Literally.
And he's just covered in leeches and pig feces. So then skip ahead to where he's in there, and
the Russians had intercepted the radio dialogue that they pulled the guys out and what's his name?
Krenna or Murdoch?
Murdoch. That Murdoch ixnayed the mission to get Rambo. The Russians tell Rambo, we intercepted the transmission, and you've been betrayed by your government because they saw that you were there, but they left you.
Yeah,
they left
right.
you, and so Rambo immediately knows that that's Murdoch's fault.
Yes, that's right. Again, I think we don't give him enough credit for how smart he is.
I think we give him all the credit he deserves. To be honest about that.
I think there's James Cameron, and which we found James Cameron wrote this with Stallone.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. James Cameron was involved
in the front credits, so it matches what you would expect from James Cameron in some of his thoughts. His characters are always really smart.
They are very smart. So go to what? So he gets in front of the radio.
Yeah, and then the little rattle music comes on, the little, and you're like, oh, Rambo's, what's he doing here? And he calls back to base, and he dials him up on the little knob, and Krenna just first one on there, Rambo, where are you? So we can come get you out. And he goes, let me talk to Murdoch.
No, he doesn't do that. He just goes, Murdoch.
Oh, yeah. He goes, yeah, that's right. And Krenna's like, he's here, Rambo. He's just right here. He's got him on speakerphone. The whole hangar's listening in. And Murdoch goes, Rambo, where are you? We're glad to hear your voice. Glad you're okay. Yeah. And he's just sweating.
Who? Rambo? Murdoch.
Yeah. And Rambo grips the microphone so hard that his knuckles crack. And he pulls the microphone up to his mouth, and he just goes, I'm coming to get you.
And then he beats hell out of everybody in the room. He just takes that microphone and just starts thwacking dudes in the head. And he kills everybody. He busts those POWs out. And I don't know, how does he get the helicopter?
We
missed something.
Oh, no, you know what it is? Another amazing Rambo feat of strength. He's hiding under the water, and they're shooting the water, and he jumps out of the water up onto the helicopter. He jumps about 10 to 15 feet up out of the water, pulls the gunner out of the side of the helicopter, crawls in, and one at a time throws everybody out.
Yeah.
But in his list of accommodations, we find out that he does have helicopter piloting experience.
That's right.
They threw that in there. They kept that detail in there. So then he's got the helicopter, and then he just starts laying Tomahawk missiles down.
That's right. He blows up the entire place. He's dropping bombs, and he's like 10 feet off the ground too. This helicopter's coming in at about 80 knots, and he's 10 feet off the ground, and he's just strafing it with bullets out of this 30mm gun he's got.
He's pretty confident that there are no POWs in any of those buildings.
He knows exactly where the POWs are. Yeah,
and he lands, and he loads about 60 POWs in this.
No, there's like a half dozen.
But in that little helicopter, he loads them all in and is taking them back to base when our Russian commander comes up with the big gunship.
Yeah, it looks like the 1985 version of one of those
Apache
helicopters. Yeah. It's got like two arms out on the side, and it's just loaded with bombs and weapons.
Just loaded with anti-tank missiles.
Yeah.
And he comes after Rambo, and then Rambo outsmarts him because he's at this point he's blowing so much smoke out of his engine because the helicopter's been shot to heck.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the POWs get picked off in the helicopter by the gunship, but it turns out to work in his favor because he uses that as like a smoke screen. And he hides in some rocks, and then the guy flies over and he
blows it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he plays the old sitting duck routine.
That's right.
He's laying in the water, rotor's turning. And
he's got like he's like leaning back in the chair like he's dead. Yeah. And so they rested down in front of him. They're like, yeah. And then he just throws a tomahawk at him.
Yeah. He's got for some reason he's got an RPG in his in his little side seat, and he just jumps up and blows the bad guys straight to hell.
The most beautiful part about the whole movie. Well, we should wrap it up.
Yeah. He and then he goes back to base and takes the M60 off the side of the.
He just pulls it off the side of the helicopter.
He goes walking in carrying it like it's a rifle, and he's greeted by Creed. And apparently, anybody that tells Rambo that they're glad to see him, that he's okay,
they get one on the chin.
They get one on the chin.
Little chin music to welcome him.
Yeah. You don't take too kindly to that kind of sarcasm. So he puts the butt of that thing into his gut, and when he doubles over, then he knocks him out with it. And he goes in and shoots up, much like the police station. He goes in and just opens up, shoots it all up. Goes to Murdoch, pulls his knife, and you think he's going to stab Murdoch right between the eyes with his big knife, and he puts it down next to his head.
Yeah.
He pretty much says you need to put every penny you have to get any POWs out.
Or he's going to come back and he's going to tear them apart limb by limb.
Yes, that's right.
So then the last moment of the movie, obviously Rambo is successful, and he meets up with Krenna, and we missed the entire subplot about the chick that he was in love with that he kissed once after having been in the shit pit for 6 hours and hadn't brushed his teeth in a week, and they kissed, and then they kill her, whatever. But
because she comes in, actually, that's the other part, is when he busts out of that radio room, is she has snuck up there, and she's laying under the floorboards with a AK-47.
Yeah.
And when he starts beating people up, guys are coming in, and she's just picking them off from under the floor.
Right. So the last minute of the movie is he and Krenna, basically breaking it down on the outside of the airplane hangar where they were stationed, and what Krenna said. Rambo's whole thing is about how he's being treated in America after having come back from Vietnam, and that his men weren't welcome. And this, dates back to 1985, and so there may still have been some political backlash from that or whatever.
Yeah.
But and then so Krenna says, "How are you going to live, Rambo?" And what does Rambo say?
Day by day. Which is funny because I'm doing a production of Godspell right now.
That's right. And Mark was like, day by day.
Day by day. I wish it would have cut to that music at that point. That would have been pretty funny. And then he goes off. Until we'll pick up with him a couple years after this for Rambo 3, which we'll have to check out.
Well,
soon.
at some point. So, but for me, the most beautiful part about the whole movie is that, here's Rambo, and he's totally trained in all types of firearms, and the Congressional Medal of Honor, and the 4 Purple Hearts, and a list of, accommodations or whatever that I don't remember. Mm-hmm. But he spent the majority of his time in the movie using bow and arrow. He is like at 150 yards, and he's just slicing dudes in the forehead with a bow and arrow. Like, he's an absolute marksman with whatever weapon it takes to kill somebody. Right? I mean, and the tips of these arrow tips, I don't know where he found them, but he had 150 of them with him. And they were like the diameter of a silver dollar. Yeah. Like, I mean, these things had to be, 8 to 10 ounces of lead.
Yeah.
And he's shooting them from 150 yards.
And you see when he's packing up his stuff, he pulls out this box, and on the front of it is just written explosives.
That's right. Was it the tips of the arrows?
The ones you're talking about. They're about the size of a firework from 4th of July.
Yeah.
And he's only got 5 in that case. I think 5 or 6 when they show him packing it up. But he launches about 80 of those things and just levels everything with him. And then he's got a bunch of regular arrows that he uses to kind of stealthily pick people off with.
Right.
But you're right. He's got an ability, and you wonder where did he get training in that for Vietnam?
I don't know, dude.
Just a skill he picked up, probably.
I guess so.
Just a skill he picked up.
Maybe he was living with Native Americans in southern Nevada or something, and they taught him how. I have no idea.
That's interesting.
Sure,
that's very possible.
I have no idea.
So we visited another Rambo movie, and we giggled through most of it.
Yeah, that one was hard to stay awake through, I gotta be honest. That was a tough one. It reminded me, it was like a bad mix between Death Wish and The Bridge on the River Kwai. It was just like, it was the worst combination of both of those movies.
Yeah.
The face, the nameless Vietnamese soldier who was pure freaking evil,
right?
And then just this worldly assassin who kills anything in his path. It was just those two things come together in becomes Rambo First Blood Part 2. It was horrible.
Yeah,
horrible movie.
It is a terrible movie. It doesn't have the things that the first one does.
No, and it got a little sappy there when he meets this girl and he starts talking about you have a real tough time in America because my own people don't accept me.
Right.
Whereas in the first one, you don't hear in Rambo or in First Blood, you don't hear any of that until the very, very end, and he actually breaks down emotionally, and it's a pretty beautiful monologue in that first movie.
Yeah.
Right at the end when he's finally caught, and he's like, I just want to be accepted.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, he's so stupid, but but it's kind of nice. It's a nice sentiment. But you don't know that all of that is really going through his mind until you see the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Unless you know the movie, obviously. But in this movie, it was just too sappy. It wasn't written well. It was all poor, all of that melodramatic, happy horse shit.
It's sort of it's kind of the formula that happens with a lot of, like, Stallone. The first one was a really, like we were saying, a really good movie, sort of like how Rocky was. And you get into Rocky. I like it up through Rocky 4. And a lot of that's maybe nostalgia, but then you get to Rocky 5 and it's just a different.
Until we get to Balboa.
Yeah.
Have you seen that piece of work?
Yeah, I believe we viewed that together.
We might have. Yeah, in New York, right?
Yep.
Oh, sorry to drop New York again.
Well, we live there. It's kind of hard for us not to mention it.
It's hard. It is. It's very difficult.
Balboa is a first class piece of film there. That's a good one.
It is,
and it's a good wrap up for that series, in my opinion.
I agree. It's better than Rocky 5. Like we had to go. We had to go back. It was like a better beginning for him, or a better ending for him than what we saw.
Yeah, it's more of a close up look at the character.
I believe so. I think it got panned, that movie, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think people were expecting. They wanted what they got from the other 4 and 5, or 5, I guess. People wanted something. That's what they were expecting. So that was our evening, and then today we're gonna watch Tiger shoot a little niner here, or 18. When did they shoot here? 18.
He's playing 18 today, and then they're gonna play the final round tomorrow because we're watching the Farmers Insurance Open. Yeah, that was just a minute ago. Tiger brought one in from about 150 yards and put it 4 inches from the hole.
But why was there another ball on the green there?
Yeah.
Did he hit 2 balls at the green?
No.
Oh.
You remember those 2 guys that volunteered to play around with him? Yeah, they actually hit the balls.
That was they get to hit too.
Yeah, they actually. Yeah, it's not them just walking with him. Mm-hmm. They want them to feel a part of the day, and so they hit the balls too.
He gives them 5 strokes to get as close to the hole as they can,
right.
And then they have to leave their ball there, and then he hits it once
and drops it within 4 inches.
Yeah, knocks their. It's almost like bocce. He knocks their ball out of the way and puts his in the gun.
It's kind of that way. So,
and Tiger's got the old Tiger head golf cover. In case you forget what his name is.
Yeah.
The Tigre.
So I was telling Mark that this is by far the best season of American Idol.
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
It is the hands down the best season that I've witnessed, and we're only like 2 or 3 weeks in with the auditions and whatnot. But it's the best season yet, the highest caliber of talent.
And you mean of the people coming in, the contestants?
That's right. Of the contestants, I think it's the highest caliber of talent I've seen in a number of years.
Okay.
I've seen, I think, the last 2 seasons in a row. I've watched them all, and then I missed a few years there, like when I was moving out of New York and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But before that, I watched a couple, like when you, Bridget, and I were living together. I saw a couple of seasons then. But this is by far, hands down, the best season of American Idol.
Wow. Really? You think they're just doing a better... You think it's because of the judging? Or you think they're doing a better job of filtering?
I don't know. I think this year there's a huge batch of kids that have been watching the show for years, and they come out and they're actually really good singers. Normally you get down to the last 8 or whatever, and they're, moderately talented, mm-hmm. But you can see the progression as they, when it's down to 8 people, they start to get free wardrobe, and their hair starts to get done, and their makeup is done professionally, and they start to take on this image of stardom that they, the star that they would want to be, and so they become a little bit more manufactured and controlled, and then their song choices get a little more conservative, and you can tell that they have professionals working with them to coach their voices and where they need to be in order to sell a certain song, but I never get the feeling that, wow, that person is really, really talented.
Right.
Across the board. I think every year there's maybe one, and they normally get cut. Like they don't make the cut.
Yeah.
But this season, I mean, it's obviously really early, but the people that I've seen that have gotten through seem really, really good.
Really?
Kind of like X Factor. Like, I think X Factor is a much better show, but kind of X Factor good. Like, these people already have an idea of what they would want to do with their careers.
Okay.
So I am a bit of an American Idol sympathizer.
But this time of year, it's almost like a sport for you.
It becomes a sport.
You get into it.
So it's a really good season, and then don't even get me started on Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, see, this is something I think we need to address, and I wasn't
That's
sure
fine.
if we were going to touch on it.
That's fine.
You have a bit of you've taken a bit of a shine to Nicki Minaj, haven't you? As a coach, or as a judge, or just as a performer? Because you were talking about her catalog a little today and what she's doing for the music industry.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you, Mark. It sounds like a loaded question. I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds like you're coming from a certain perspective,
Okay.
and you're kind of setting me up here to like a t-ball to hit me. Because what you're saying is correct, but you don't like Nicki Minaj.
I'm not big. I don't know. I haven't.
You do know. Don't say I don't know. You don't like her.
I don't know enough about her. I guess I can't.
This is such bullshit.
I can't give.
What did you say when I was like? I said the other day I was like, Nicki Minaj is so freaking hot. What did you say?
Well, that I can make a.
You said she's shaped like a pear. Isn't that what you said?
No.
What did you say?
He said she was shaped like a duck.
Like a duck?
Yeah, she looked. I'm not a bit. I just because all I've seen is about the drama between her and who's the other female, Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
They're bigger, and they're trying to sell it as this kind of drama, and I'm just tired of that reality show creating drama. When you got a show that's got enough drama, you got enough feel good stories on there.
You
that
do.
You want to see people do well.
But see, you didn't here, and I'm not like casting a spurt. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, but you didn't see the episode that like was getting coverage over the late summer or autumn or whenever it was. That was getting the coverage of the blow up between them. Mm-hmm. But the episode was on this past week. I think it was Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. And God, I cannot believe I am such an American Idol fanatic. I mean, it's really ridiculous.
You love it.
I mean, I've been I'm such a curmudgeon, and then let's talk about American Idol. Like I find myself in American Idol chat rooms, like chatting with 19-year-old kids about American Idol and who's going to win. But the thing is, so here I go. So the thing is that it was one specific blow up like that they had, but it wasn't just between Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Like who's the original guy?
Randy Jackson.
Yeah, Randy Jackson was involved in it, and Keith Urban. Keith Urban?
Is he on there too?
Some country singer who sounds like he's from the United Kingdom.
Oh, he's Australian.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's married to Nicole Kidman.
Okay. So they were all fighting. It was Nicki against all three of them. And so the thing was that American Idol was like, okay, so this is basically when it starts, it's like this is the episode where the blow up happens, and this is right the moment that it does happen, and then they go 6 hours earlier, and then they play the whole episode, and then they show the blow up, and then they show them after the blow up the next day, because Nicki Minaj walks off set, they stop production, and then they go back the next day, and everything's fine. It was like it could have been the end of like 2 long days, and they were all just like really pissy with each other. Okay. And so they stopped production and they started back up the next day, and everything was good. And they kind of laughed about it or whatever. But American Idol didn't play it up. It was all these other outlets. And so when they're trying to make it all about this conflict between the two of them, they really aren't. They're not really doing that. Maybe in the advertising and stuff, but when you watch the actual show, they're not making it more than, well, they probably are making it more than it was, but it doesn't overwhelm the show. It's still about the auditions and the contestants and the idiots that can't sing that think they can.
And do they still hit you with a healthy dose of the freak factor?
They do. And actually, a friend of mine, and I won't say his name just to
protect the innocent.
Yeah, because I don't want him like getting email or like Facebook statuses or whatever. But he put a post up last week, and he said, I haven't watched. And if you're listening to this, you know who you are because I'm in your fantasy football league.
Your initials are.
Yeah. But he was like, I haven't watched American Idol in 6 years, and I just watched a part of tonight's episode. And he makes mention of how the show takes advantage of like potentially mentally ill and delusioned people.
Oh, okay.
and that he can safely say that he won't watch it for another 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And that actually had impact on me when I read that, because then I thought back, because, some of these people, they come on there and, they just suck at singing, or they just come on because they want 2 minutes of fame, and so they get on the show and they can't sing at all, but that was their main focus. But then you do have some that are kind of delusioned into thinking that they could be, a superstar singer, and they absolutely suck at singing. What'd you do? Did you get bit by something?
No, I just picked off something on my hand.
Oh, that's lovely, lovely.
Sorry.
But so that actually hit home with me, and I'm still gonna watch it. But it's a fair and a valid point that the show it does, it can make fun of people who are potentially mentally ill, certainly delusioned,
yeah, for sure. And I think before it had there was some charm to that at first,
right.
But I also had that same feeling. I don't remember a couple seasons ago, because I used to watch the show a lot, and I don't watch it now just because we don't have a DVR or anything, and I don't have time at the nights it's on. I'm not available to watch it. But I could watch it online, and I probably will, because if you're endorsing it, and I know you've been a fan for a while, then it's worth its day in court.
Maybe,
or maybe I'll just be angry with you after I go watch it. But yeah, several seasons ago when I watched it, there was laundry's done. That's going to go off until you get it, or
no? There it goes. Whites are done. I have no idea how to turn that thing off.
The buzzer.
The buzzer.
Because it just stops after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just stops. So what's it telling you? It just, hey, don't forget.
Don't forget. Yeah, and if I don't get it in like 10 minutes, it'll go off again.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird. But I don't know how to turn it off.
There's got to be a way to reset that. It's interesting. It's not even like a ding or anything. It's just like gears grinding together.
This loud, annoying noise.
Yeah. So yeah, but there was a couple seasons ago. There was a lady on there that was not a good singer at all, and she actually was a big fan of whoever the guest judge was at that time. I want to say it was I can't remember who it was. Anyways, but she got embarrassed on national television in front of one of her idols, and you could see it had an effect on her. Definitely had an effect.
Yeah.
And I'm sure even going back and watching it, like say, sometimes, and then sometimes they'll during the finale they'll bring on one of the people that was really bad, and they'll have them perform. And they did that one season.
That's right.
That bothered me too.
What was that guy's name? She bang.
William Hung.
Yeah, William Hung. They do.
Yeah.
But so there's an example. I mean, sure they're making fun of her or whatever, but he got paid.
Yeah.
That guy got paid.
Yeah. You know what? And he did put out an album that,
right.
Whether it had any artistic merit or integrity to it,
questionable.
He paid a few bills.
There's no question about that.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
When it comes down to it, though, if the person can sing, I cannot believe I am this passionate about this television. If the person can sing, then they're going through.
Yeah.
But when they go to, like, it's a whole different thing when they go to, like, Hollywood, and then they have to, do group singing and all of that. Like, it cuts out people who might be really talented.
Yeah.
It might be an unfair test, but again, they're putting them through a grinder that is probably set up after the fashion of what Hollywood has become to create those types of singers,
Right.
So they're looking for the person that fits that mold. Right. So only a few times can someone with really, really great talent kind of make it through that meat grinder. Mm-hmm. But if you can sing on these audition episodes, then they're going to put you through. I am absolutely done talking about this.
But
I'll talk about Nicki Minaj.
How many Nicki Minaj music videos have you watched within the last 24 hours?
I think I watched about 8 this morning. I watched about 8. But that one, Super Bass Man, have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God. I'll show it to you after we're done here. But that, my goodness gracious.
This really surprises me. And I don't know anything about her as a musician or a celebrity. I was just basing everything off the drama that I was letting the media feed me.
Yeah.
As just a stupid consumer. I just
right, but you were seeing it from the opposite side. Like, I'm not going to fall into that stupid consumer mode,
right?
Which is completely understandable. I'm not talking about it.
But the irony is that in trying not to, they got me. They got me because they made me flip, and I was probably watching whatever channel The Voice is on. I was probably watching news on that channel, and they totally talked me out of watching it because I like The Voice. I'll watch The Voice. I think that's when I think that one addresses the talent right away, and you don't get all the silliness. Do you think that I'm not going to let you get off the hook of this American Idol because you're passionate about it, so it's something good to talk about.
Unbelievable.
Do you think that Simon's not on there? Do you get a sense that people are a little more relaxed?
Because Simon's not on there?
Yeah, like the nerve factor of him just because do they rip into people like they used to when old Simon Cowell was helming
They do, but not like Simon did. I mean, they can't. You know, I think Randy tries to push that a little bit, but he nobody can do it like Simon.
No,
nobody can tear somebody apart like Simon. But occasionally, Randy would be like, "Yeah, that was really awful," But he's not good at it like Simon was.
He's really trying to do it, and you can tell he doesn't like to do it too.
But the auditioners are nervous, yes, because it's like Keith Urban, Mariah Carey. She's getting a lot of run. Like when why are you doing this to me? What? Why am I talking like this?
Because it's good.
But like when the auditioners come in, they'll see Mariah Carey and they go weak. They're like, "You are my idol. I grew up, singing because you made me sing." And like the fact that she's multiracial, like a lot of kids are bringing that up. Like you were an inspiration to me. That that I could sing and do something that I wanted to do with my life and things like that. So, and Nicki Minaj is but Keith Urban and Mariah Carey are getting the most run from people being starstruck and nervous.
They're huge stars.
Huge stars.
And I think that's a good thing because when it started, Paula Abdul was the heaviest hitter on the panel.
That's right.
And she used to get a lot of that too because a lot of people grew up with Paula Abdul and she was an inspiration to a lot of people.
That's right.
I grew up not listening to Paula Abdul. I grew up in the bar.
You grew up. Mark used to dance like Paula Abdul all the time. He'd put those scarves around your neck.
I would be that little animated cat dancing with Paula Abdul. I did once do a skit where we reenacted the Paula Abdul Elton John Diet Coke commercial.
Really?
Yeah. That was.
Who did you play? You're kind of indicted on both counts.
Elton John.
Well, there you go. Ah, there you have it, America. Elton John. Mark Dunn's idol. No, Elton John's great. I love Elton John.
Yeah.
Tiger is 13 under, 2 under on the day through 3 holes.
Wow. 13 under. I would have to skip 6 holes to come in even close to that.
You would have to skip the back 9. You'd have to skip. You'd have to get a birdie and walk off.
I haven't golfed in. I think we were talking about this over breakfast because we have a mutual friend that's an avid golfer, and we were just informed that he's going to start taking golf lessons.
Curtis Shaw. I'll out him right now. He's going to go take golf lessons.
So he can what? Quote what?
So he can embarrass me on the golf course. That's what he said. He's going to embarrass me on the golf course. No, I can't talk about his game, but and that would be good if he went and took a couple of lessons. I mean, I'm terrible at golf, and he and I, even though our games are much different, he plays left-handed, I play right-handed. He hits his 240 dead left. I hit mine 70 yards right down the middle. Like it's just completely different games, but we're very, very tight. Like if we were to actually go out and handicap ourselves over the course of a summer, our handicaps are probably very close.
Really?
Yeah. So if he went and took a couple lessons, it would absolutely put him over the top.
Yeah.
And I think actually in our history, he's beaten me at golf more often than I've beaten him.
Really?
Probably. Yeah. But our games, in terms of the final numbers, are similar.
On an average golf game, do you how many strokes do you give yourself?
What do you mean?
Just freebies. Just.
My dad used to. I've told the story many times. My dad, we would go out golfing, and I'd hit the ball and be behind a bush. My dad would kick it out. He'd be like, "Yeah, here you go, son." Dad, that's not the rule. I got to play around the bush. Get it out there. Take a swack at it.
I think part of it is he didn't want to be out there all afternoon while you tried to get it out from behind him.
Actually, I never thought of that, but that's probably true.
But that's a nice thing. Yeah, my father golfed a little bit too.
Yeah.
I haven't golfed I haven't golfed in 15 years. It's a big thing out here. Sometimes I don't know if it is. If you found this, but golfing is a nice event to do for like a bachelor party or something like that.
Sure.
A group of guys will go out and golf, and that I would golf maybe once a year in that kind of situation or with some kind of organized group. But I'm a terrible golfer, and like I told you about, if I'm golfing 9 holes, about the 6th hole, 5th or 6th hole, I quit.
You're done.
I'm done. I'm just gonna walk with you guys and watch you take your shots. Maybe drop a ball now and then to hit one.
Sure.
But I need to get out with you guys sometime and give it a shot. But now I'm a little nervous since our pal is
Going to take lessons?
Going to take golf lessons.
That's not going to do much good.
Might straighten her out a little bit.
Yeah, might straighten it out.
He's still going to log a few miles east and west.
That's right. That's right. No, but we have a good time. We played a lot last summer, and I live 2 hours away from where he lives. So.
Yeah. Well, but I don't. So we can get all kinds of golfing in.
That's true. That's true. Actually, we're going to look for a course kind of in the middle.
Oh, that would be good. Something up in like Anderson or Muncie or something like that.
Muncie, yeah.
Muncie. Oh, okay.
So,
I don't mean to wedge myself.
Yeah, Mark. Look, we'll issue invitations on an as-need basis.
It's really easier to move as a twosome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think?
That's all I've got.
That's all I got too. So. No, you got.
We need to tell you about our email address. You can
email
submit any questions, comments, or ideas for future podcasts. Can be emailed to ACoupleofDummies @gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
And there's nothing special about that spelling. There's no spaces, no underscores, just A Couple of Dummies. DUMMIES @gmail.com.
Yeah, and you can write in if you got a topic you want to talk about. Think of it as a conversation with us, right? Because we're going to check it now and then.
We're going to check it. Sure.
We're not necessarily going to make any adjustments to our show based on what
Definitely
you
not.
tell us.
I'm also not going to feel bad if you call me like names. Yeah. I'm pretty thick-skinned.
We're pretty thick-skinned. We've been called worse. Whatever you say, we've been called worse.
Definitely by people that I love.
Yeah.
People that I love will have called me something worse and meant it. So my heart has already been crushed, generally speaking. So say what you will.
Yeah, you're not gonna hurt us.
That's right.
Not gonna hurt us.
God, Tiger looks good off the tee. Oh, he's going right. Dead right.
He knows it too. Would he catch a little golf? Oh no!
Oh, he's okay. He's on the cart path. Oh yeah, no, that's gonna play. He's out in the open.
Look, here's something that we're watching this game, and it's just blowing my mind when it goes out of bounds. Just the average Joe's watching the game take it as their responsibility to block that ball, don't they? I thought they were running to get it.
No. They're running. You mean like the people watching the gallery?
Yeah.
No, they're going to get around it so they can be right next to him when he takes his next shot.
Maybe catch it on the chin in his backswing.
Right. Yeah, a little chin music.
Yeah, a little chin music.
Yeah. See, he just thwacked that right.
And he knew it as soon as he hit it.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He gave the signal. Yeah.
Oh, it bounced up out of the sand.
See, that doesn't happen for everybody.
No. He's got a nice uphill lot. He's going to be fine from there.
Do you think that's because the sand's wet, that it skipped over it like that?
I don't know. It's been foggy there for the last 36 hours, so that's possible.
Look at that view. That's a rough job, professional golfer.
We're looking out at the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego.
Mm-hmm. What is that in the background? Is that just the horizon, or is that another spot of land? Is that a bay? This is San Francisco?
San Diego.
San Diego.
That's just the ocean.
Oh, it's amazing. All
right.
So we're not sure when we're going to do another one of these, but
we don't. Next week we're definitely off, though.
We're definitely off. You're going to be flying.
I'll be out of town.
You'll be out of town. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, and we're sorry.
We're sorry. Thank you. Bye.